If Turkey were to invade Syria, the Syrian government is supported by the Russian government. And Russia intervened in Syria militarily several years ago. And Russia controls the sky. Russia has control over the skies of Syria. So there is going to be a clash between Turkey and Russia.
Tensions between Russia and Turkey are rising. Russia, a nuclear power, and Turkey, a NATO member. Tensions between them are high, not just because of the potential conflict looming in Syria's Idlib as I speak, where the Syrian government is keen to take back its land from occupational Turkey, but Russia and Turkey are heading for a clash. It's a contest over who will be the preeminent regional power as the United States scales back its global role. Turkey says it wants to protect its borders with Syria, while Russia wants to show that its military intervention has preserved Syria. Both sides have said they want to de-escalate, but neither side have been willing to back down, leading to fears of sliding into an Armageddon-like situation which could cost Recep Tayyip Erdogan his political career.
С праздником вас! С Днем Великой Победы! Ура!
2 years after the last ground operation in Syria, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan hints at the possibility of a new invasion. The reason, he says, is due to attacks near the southern border of the country, one of which killed 2 Turkish police officers this week. The Turkish Foreign Minister Mevlut said at a press conference that the country will do what is necessary for its security. In particular, Turkey will seek to clear the border areas of the US-backed Syrian Kurdish People's Defense Forces, which Turkey considers an offshoot of the banned Kurdistan Workers' Party, the PKK. Erdogan said the recent incidents were the last straw and Turkey is determined to eliminate the threats emanating from Syria.
We've been very clear that we condemn the cross-border attacks against our NATO ally Turkey. We have expressed our condolences to the families of the loved ones who were killed in these attacks, and we've underscored the importance of maintaining the ceasefire, lines of ceasefire, and halting these cross-border attacks.
Large areas of northern Syria, including Idlib, are under the control of Turkey and its associated so-called Syrian rebels. The Syrian rebels, which Russia and Syria refer to as international terrorists from other countries. During its most recent invasion of Syria, Operation Spring of Peace in 2019, Turkey sought to create a safe zone 30 kilometers deep from Turkey's southern border east of the Euphrates River. The Russians and Syrians believe that a new Turkish offensive in Syria may be aimed at expanding the Spring of Peace zone, and Erdogan's statement should be taken seriously. However, at the same time, a contingent of several hundred American servicemen remain in eastern Syria, where their presence largely restrains Turkey's military operations. The United States and Russia promised to withdraw the Kurdish armed formations from the border areas, but according to Turkey, they didn't fulfill their promise. Therefore, Minister Cavusoglu feels that these countries are to blame for the attacks against Turkish policemen.
С праздником вас! С Днем Великой Победы! Ура!
So why is Turkey in Syria anyway? Is it really to protect Turkish borders? Of course not. Erdogan has a dream of recreating the Ottoman Empire and playing the Muslim world, and Turkey's actions in Syria are there to keep an eye not just on the United States, but also Russia. That's Turkey's favourite strategy, to play all sides and to maneuver between geopolitical rivals, drawing closer to one side or the other. In this context, the timing of the current statements of the Turkish leadership is extremely important. At the end of last month, Erdogan met with Vladimir Putin in Sochi. At the end of this year, he plans to meet on the G20 fields with Joe Biden. What Erdogan is trying to do is heat up the situation on ground. He wants to open the door for bargaining with both Russia and the United States. The meeting between Erdogan and Putin took place in Sochi behind closed doors, but experts believe that the issue of Idlib and its transfer to Syrian control was certainly on the agenda. Erdogan isn't interested in leaving the so-called security zone, firstly because a considerable amount of material and human resources have already been invested in it, along with Turkey housing a number of international terrorists from the West as well as Central Asia. Secondly, the fight against the PKK in the border areas is Erdogan's favourite technique to distract his own population from Turkey's internal problems. However, neither Russia nor the United States is willing to provide room for these maneuvers anymore. International calls to stop this game are being heard more and more. All these things are happening whilst Turkey is seeking to acquire 40 US-made F-16 fighters and about 80 modernization kits for its existing fleet. Erdogan likely hopes to raise the issue during his meeting with Joe Biden in Rome in late October. However, Turkish aggression in northeastern Syria is unlikely to serve him well. And I say this because earlier on this month, US President Joe Biden extended the Trump administration's emergency decree on Syria, writing in a letter to Congress that Turkey's operations are undermining campaigns to combat remaining Islamic State militants in the region, and Turkey continues to pose an extreme threat to US national security and foreign policy. Recep Tayyip Erdogan's hints of the possibility of a new invasion of Syria have led to an even greater collapse of the Turkish lira, a sign that Turkey's geopolitical ambitions may prove unrealistic. It would be interesting to see the results of Erdogan's meeting with Biden in Rome, and I'm sure the Russians will be following this carefully too. As you know, the effect of Turkish-Russian relations in terms of creating a crack in NATO is a situation that Putin likes. And this is one of the main reasons for granting space to Erdogan in Syria. Ultimately, however, the Russians will increase their pressure to close the Idlib front and remove all international terrorists from the region. And for now, folks, conditions in Syria are in Russia's favor. Russia and Iran have backed Syrian President Bashar al-Assad to take back his territory, whilst Turkey has been supporting opposition forces since the planned so-called uprising which started against Assad in 2011. For now, folks, Erdogan isn't moving much in Syria, and if he does without US and Russian permission, it will definitely cost him his political career.
С праздником вас! С Днем Великой Победы! Ура!
الله محيي هالجيش الحامي ترابك سوريا يحمي قائدنا بشار رئيس الجمهورية الله محيي هالجيش الحامي ترابك سوريا يحمي قائدنا بشار رئيس الجمهورية